SAFM, let's talk.
With the 21-day nationwide lockdown in place, the full effects will ripple through all sectors and industries at least until the end of this year. What does life after lockdown look like for business is the question that we're asking. A very good afternoon to you, Jason Hamilton, guest lecturer in corporate and development finance at the University of Stellenbosch Business School. He's also director at First River Capital. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome onto the Focal Point.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Mr. Hamilton, let's talk about this 21-day nationwide lockdown that is in place. Do you think that businesses will be able to recover just like that once the 21-day lockdown is suspended?
I think the 21-day lockdown is obviously a crucial period for our country, and although it's besides fighting the virus, I think it does unite the nation around how serious the situation is, because it makes sure that we understand that this crisis is now felt by literally everybody in the economy, which has ensured that I think we've got a united front on all fronts, from employees, from all sectors all business sectors in the market, and obviously also government, which is something I haven't really seen come to the fore before. With the 21-day lockdown, obviously many businesses aren't allowed to trade, which means your income is zero. So from that perspective, yes, there's a short-term effect, which a lot of institutions are coming to the fore with debt deferments, capitalization, moratoriums, capital holidays, and obviously government also with various incentives, which I think the previous segment dealt with, around where you can apply for assistance. The effect, however, is going to be felt after that, and how long that period of recovery is yet to be seen. The feeling is, though, that this is going to carry on for a good few months to come, and we will emerge from this, I have no doubt. However, our businesses will structurally look very, very different, and our individuals as well. Now, we've, over the last couple of years, individually and from company level, managed to reduce our debt from sort of the 2008 crisis levels, which is obviously good. However, I think after this, we are going to emerge with companies sitting with quite significant debt levels, which makes it very, very difficult, obviously, to then grow going forward. Specifically then at the government level as well, if we look at our deficit, which per the budget speech next year was said to be just under 7%. That also now will be sitting at a much higher level going forward. So all our plans, the recovery plans, etc., that we have in place over the medium term now becomes really a long-term plan.
And these recovery plans, I mean, when one takes into account the fact that already South Africa was in recession in leading into this 21-day lockdown, can we really look at the international stories like China to model ourselves against, because they're not dealing with some of the challenges that we are?
I think there's elements of it that we can, and I think if you look at the global recessions we've seen over the last few years, the last 11 recessions, it takes about 18 months for once a recession starts for really the economies to start recovering. The problem with that is that we can't really use this recession we're entering now, us and the globe, as a model, because it's very different to the cause. It is very different to the previous ones, which was all sort of economically driven. So looking at that, we struggle to even come up with a timeline. I do think, however, because there's not necessarily fundamental structural concerns why we're sitting with this problem, and it's event-driven, pandemic-driven, the feeling is that the recovery should be quite swift. The problem, however, is that it could still take some time to get there. So it's not going to be a question of 21 days or 2 months and then we see a recovery starting to come through. As we saw with China, they've been dealing with this for the last 5 or 6 months. They are now at a point where they're starting to open up their factories again. The problem is the world is now shut down, so they can't sell their goods, which means they are now at the mercy of the pandemic going through the rest of the world. And I think South Africa is going to obviously be exposed to that same cycle.
We're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time, Jason Hamilton, guest lecturer in corporate and development finance at the University of Stellenbosch